Hello, my friend, and welcome back. I had to take last week off because I gave myself laryngitis. I believe basically after I recorded the last episode, my voice started going downhill. Like it felt super scratchy at first and just like inflamed. And then it developed into full blown laryngitis. And like I was having all of the nasal drip and yuck, and I literally lost my voice for multiple days. And I know that I gave that to myself via going through this process that I've been sharing about in the last episode or two. And I've never lost my voice before, and I don't even think I've ever actually had laryngitis. Like, overall, I'm a pretty healthy person, thankfully, knock on wood. But yeah, I knew whenever this was happening that it was because of this situation. Like, I was doing it to myself, and I was okay with it, because I knew that this was just a part of the shedding process, essentially, of shedding the energy, the person, the intentions, the lower frequencies, the messaging that I was putting out, all of it. And I know that honestly, all of my episodes are pretty woo, but I feel like this one's going to be even more woo. But I do want to ground it into some of the language that the gene keys pull forward, specifically in the back of the book in the glossary of empowerment. And so if you buy the Gene Keys book, like the big one that is all about discovering your purpose, and it has all 64 gene keys written out in that book, in the very back of that, you will find the glossary of empowerment. And in that is really where I was validated by what I was experiencing via my awareness, and also understanding what it means to go through a mutation. And those two things are what I'm going to be pulling forward in this episode. And so if you are someone who totally believes that your thoughts, your beliefs, your environment, your inner world and outer world can lead into physical manifestations within your body, then this episode is for you because that is exactly what happened. And so for me, again, giving myself laryngitis, completely losing my voice, I was like really tired as my body was just processing all of this guilt and shame and insecurity, and also awareness and gratitude and clarity and just humbleness. Like, I feel like I was truly humbled by life from this experience that I've been walking through. And I knew it wasn't just a cold. I knew it wasn't just, oh, I must have caught something from somebody else. Like, it was my body going through a mutation. And what a mutation is whenever there's an unpredictable event that breaks the continuity of a linear sequence. And this can be in your awareness, in your life. This is essentially saying something shocking happened and it shook me awake, and therefore my biochemistry shifted because of that. And that is exactly what happened. And so I didn't just lose my voice. Again, I was losing the version of myself that was speaking from survival and greed and envy and all of those lower frequencies, like even vanity is in there, that I have come to identify via my particular gene keys and also this system in general. And so it's really validating to do this work. And I know that it's not for everybody, but for spiritual seekers like me who understand the deeper energetics and or are just curious about them, the gene keys can be such a powerful system for you to validate your knowings, your curiosities, and your questions. And so for me, I really had to pull back, one, to heal from this mutation, to like heal from this sickness, to heal from the shedding that my body was going through, and just honor this process. And so, even with this, like my energy totally dropped. I was sleeping in, I was drinking so much tea. I was just going on hot girl walks as much as possible. I can't remember if I've shared about how much I love my hot girl walks now, but I go on one at least every day, if not multiple ones. And it's been such a nice way to really drop into my body and let my body lead me, which is a super beautiful thing that I think all of us are really wanting to cultivate more of. And I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, something shocking had to happen for me to fully lean into this. And because before I was operating from so much pressure and performance, and I think this shows up in basically all of our lives, in whatever way, shape, or form that takes. Like, for example, you could be a consultant who has to be on all the time, and you have meetings and you have deadlines and you have presentations and you have expectations that are informing your energy and how you show up. And it can be really easy to get caught up in that role and bypass your body's ways of communicating with you and trying to lead you. And this is a side effect of our society, right? And the roles and the expectations that we have found ourselves in, which is fine and good. And our body always knows what's best. Or maybe you work for a super major corporation and you are a high level executive in this corporation. And so you too potentially have meetings and expectations and deadlines and projects that you need to fulfill, and you're just very much in this masculine energy a lot. Or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you just have to always be on, whether you have one little or multiple littles, and it's just constant, right? And still, at the very core of this is our body trying to communicate with us and lead the way. And so I think, hopefully nothing shocking like this happens in your life. However, I also house the belief that sometimes shocking things do need to happen to spark us into a mutation, to where we have a break in the mundane and break in the consistency so that we can see clearly and give ourselves what we need. And so honestly, shocking events can be super beautiful catalysts to us living in more resonance with who we truly want to be. And that has its own ripple effects, right? And so again, it's like a nuanced thing to where I don't want something shocking to happen, and it would be amazing if we, as conscious and responsible adults and individuals and seekers of the light and the truth and love and purity, that we can just start to make subtle shifts in our everyday lives to support our body leading and being more intentional with our energy and delegating things out, or having better boundaries, or starting to somehow shift the energy that we are exporting into all of these other things and peoples and places, and start to cultivate more of that energy back into ourselves, to cultivate safety and rest and peace and clarity and authenticity, right? Because I know that's another aspect that comes through that I have directly spoken into for the last episode or two, about losing that authentic expression because of these external pressures or expectations that have been, put on you, and that we have put on ourselves. Like, it's external and it's internal. And basically, with this story of me walking myself through this mutation on purpose and also unintentionally, right? The universe kind of did it on its own, and then I have continued to carry the baton. It's like, it's really showing us the light of saying, this is not entirely how you're meant to show up. This is not how you're meant to totally lead your life 100% of the time. Like, yes, it is an aspect of the reality that has been created for you, and there's more for you here. There's more peace, there's more slowness. And I have firsthand experience in my own life, obviously, but also with my friends and my clients that I have shared about human design and gene keys with, that subtle shifts over time compound and add up, just like the accumulation of responsibilities and roles and things do, just the same. And so if you found yourself in this place of pressure and performance and really exporting a lot into other people, places, and things, just know that the other side of that coin is available for you as well. And it just takes subtle shifts over time, small epiphanies here and there that compound over time can support you in creating a mutation in your life that doesn't necessarily always have to come from a major shocking event. So I know that I kind of went all around about that, but I think that's really what has to happen is we have to start to break the rhythm a little bit and be more intentional. And so again, for me, like my voice stopped working so that I could listen even more deeply into what this was trying to tell me. And I had to recognize, and I encourage you to also recognize, that when things like this happen in life, it's not a punishment. It's an invitation. It's an initiation. Like literally, there is an mutation happening within your body, within your biochemistry, your cells. When you have this awareness and this clarity that comes through, these ahas, these epiphanies, your biochemistry is literally changing. And what's happening on a biochemical, cellular, genetic level is you are allowing more light to pass through your cells, which increases your vitality and also your awareness, right? You see things more clearly. You drop deeper into the truths of your lives. You recognize the patterns that are happening and why they keep coming up. And so I recognize this as before my awareness was operating in what's known as the lower trinity. And this is also coming into the Gene Keys Glossary of Empowerment, to where physical awareness is rooted in survival and fear. Emotional awareness is rooted in desires and drama, and mental awareness is rooted in comparison and judgment. And so for me, if you've listened to the last episode, you can pick up on how I was operating in that lower trinity, right? With like survival and fear, really trying to cultivate that physical awareness through survival and fear, but it had me operating in those lower frequencies. In the emotional awareness that's rooted in desire and drama, I was absolutely driven by the possibility of essentially making a lot of money so that I would feel safer in my life, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, it all coincides with one another. And then the mental awareness that's rooted in comparison and judgment, I can see clearly now how the greed and the envy and those lower frequencies, thoughts and perspectives were absolutely running the show. And it comes through in such subtle ways that I don't think until you have like a breakthrough or an epiphany or like a mutation or get bitch slapped by the universe that you can fully see those things. But it was coming through in my thoughts of how I needed to keep up. Like I should be doing more. I should be working more. Like if I'm not working behind my computer every minute that I have before I have to go into client calls or be a mom or be a girlfriend and the other roles and relationships that I have, that I wasn't doing enough. Or, I have these thoughts of like, what if I don't post for however long, like a week or whatever? And all of that is rooted in fear. And whenever my voice disappeared, I had to let go of all of that noise as well, and I had to serve me first. And this is what happens is as you raise your frequency throughout your being, your awareness becomes more pristine and pure. And that's what I was being called into. It was like this divine presence, unconditional love, and silence and wisdom, which is all about the upper trinity of having these higher understandings of the levels of conscious awareness that are also dictating our lives. That is more in the purity and the love and the unity of all of us together versus, again, those lower trinities of fear and lack and desire and drama and comparison and judgment. So I hope you're still following along with me. I know that this is, again, really woo-woo, but if you've had a spiritual experience or two or however many in life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you can reflect on patterns in your life, whether you've had this massive breakthrough or mutation or not, you can start to see how these lower faculties of the physical, emotional, and mental awareness that are rooted in those lower states are showing up for you. Am I right? Like, please just shake your head yes. And so I hope you also have recognized how life gets a lot simpler and quieter whenever you do have these awarenesses that come online of the higher faculties that you're meant to live into, which again is that universal love, the purity of heart, the patience with your process, the awareness that you have that you are on time and you're doing the right things, and you need to step back into the silence so that you can truly hear what's needed to be heard versus staying lost in the noise. And so as again you raise your frequency throughout your entire being, your awareness does become more pure, and that's, I think, what all of our inner beings are calling us towards. And so for me, that came through as taking a step back from obviously this podcast, because one, I couldn't talk at all or I sounded like absolute shit, which in ways I kind of loved because I had a raspy voice for a little while, and I've always loved raspy voices. I don't know why. I just think they're fun. I like the way they sound. But also, I was allowing myself to sleep in and drink a bunch of tea and just process and just be in the space. And again, let my body lead without trying to push or make myself feel bad, because I wasn't just healing. I was literally recalibrating to a new level of conscious awareness. My body was literally readapting to allow more light to pass through my cells. This is the purpose of the gene keys and human design as well, but I feel like the gene keys take this even further with the validating information for the states that we tend to operate in, whether that's the shadows, the gift, or the cities. And so this whole reattunement was that recalibration. And I knew that. And that's why I was able to let myself off the hook. And that's what I really want to support you in, allowing yourself to be off the hook as well. Whether you actually have to take a full step back because your body's like, I cannot go anymore, I need to rest and recalibrate. It doesn't matter. Like, you can create those little pockets of time in your everyday life to breathe and to let your body relax and to downregulate your nervous system and to just be with yourself and reflect on what's coming up for you, to ask deeper questions rather than just staying busy with going from one thing to the next and playing all of these roles and responsibilities and just never creating that time for yourself. Our inner beings are always calling us to be in our aloneness. And as scary as that might be, it's what we truly need to see more clearly and to evolve as a human. I am an alone time advocate. I am a first line. I am a 1-3, and everything, honestly, about my design points to being a person who loves alone time. And so I think we all truly need that more than we allow ourselves to. And so I want to encourage you to give yourself more alone time. Have more pockets of time for yourself in your day. And really, I really want to encourage you to dive into the gene keys. I know I'm absolutely super partial, but they will absolutely transform your life. And that's what the purpose of the gene keys is to increase your emotional and physical and spiritual awareness so that you can embody who you were born to be, embody the shifts that your body is calling you for, to let go of the fear and the stories that say you need to keep up, you need to keep going, there's something wrong with you, and instead actually meet those stories and the potential pain that comes with them with love and compassion and understanding and deep listening, and to know that it's a portal into your next evolution, into your next embodiment, into your next level of awareness, my babe. Like, this is what can come through in the stillness and in the silence and in the aloneness, right? You can hear that deeper voice that's coming from within. And it's not necessarily polished, but it is true. It's here to express truly what you need to hear and to say so that you can catalyze a true change in your life and in your relationships and in your body and in your business and in your work and in your money and everything that your awareness will touch. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to purify and improve all aspects of your life. And the gene keys are the portal to that possibility. And so if you have also been experiencing just this inner calling that's like, wake up to me, come on, girl, it's time to listen, it's time to slow down, it's time to tune in, then those moments of silence, or maybe even sadness or burnout or grief, are your reminder that creative energy and authenticity and purity of your spirit and your expression is born through mutation. It's born in the pauses. It's born in the shifts of your awareness. It's born in the surrender. And if you can allow yourself to go there and remind yourself that you're not falling behind, you are stepping into alignment. And you're not broken. You are literally breaking open so that you can mutate into your next best self. And oh my gosh, I'm going to pull this up real quick because this is a transcript from the third gene key that I think will really speak well into this. And it says, who, what, and wherever you are, if you're not continually transcending, then you're dying. And so just think about that for a second. Like, my mind immediately goes to the dinosaurs, right? Like, they unfortunately had a demise that was not their fault, but it's like, if you're not evolving, then you're a dinosaur. You're going to die. You're going to go extinct. And so let yourself get lost in that process and just know that you're not losing your way. You're shedding what isn't yours. And on the other side of that is this expression of yourself, this embodiment of yourself that is more you than you have been to date. And it's just going to continue to get better from there. And your body will start to shift from this feeling of survival to something that's just more open and light and vital, because the more light that passes through your cells, like, think about this. Whenever you are in those lower frequency states, you are more dense. Your body vitality slows down. It doesn't move as efficiently, and you don't process things as quickly. But whenever you do this work to tune in, to have the epiphanies, to allow the mutations to happen, to be an advocate in your evolution and just ruthlessly go after that. Like, I don't know. We all have our own ways of doing that. And I know that I am just constantly on this cutting edge of my own evolution, which has to do with the 53rd gene key, which is my core wound and my vocation. So there's that validation. But anyways, we all have this within us. We are all built to evolve because we are a part of nature. We are a part of evolution. Like, it is literally our purpose on this earth to evolve in these ways. And you do that through your awareness, which catalyzes a transformation in your physiology. Okay. And so it makes you lighter in your energy. You become less dense. You start to walk lighter, carry yourself lighter. Your body becomes more efficient in the way that it runs these processes of mutation and digestion of information and food and everything that we give it. Okay. And so your body will go from that place of survival to more of like thriving. And I don't like to say that, like, I wouldn't say I was surviving. I'd say I'm thriving, which is a quote from Bridesmaids. But anyways, you get my point, right? It's like, we all want to feel better, and this is that process of doing that. And also when it comes to masculine and feminine energetics, which is where a lot of us feel super safe, in the masculine of the doing and the being and the checking boxes and showing up and putting out. And that's what's burning us out, specifically as women who generally identify as a feminine woman, right? We want to be more in flow. We want to be more in tune with our intuition. We want to let go of all the shit that we're doing and just be more. And whenever you do this work and you are just ruthless about optimizing your energy and your expression and being the most authentic version of yourself through your embodiment, you will naturally allow yourself to be more. To take breaks, to say no, to breathe, to go on walks, to be with your family and be present and not feel like you're constantly running behind or you're letting people down because you're not producing, right? That is imbalance. That is unhealthy long term. And that is likely what is impacting your relationship with your work, with your partner, with yourself, with your body, with your money, with everything. Because you're gripping. And I'm speaking from experience. You guys know my story. I am not perfect. And I am still trying to lead with the most honest aspect of embodiment in my process of being myself that I possibly can be. And this comes through with sharing these deeper energetic faculties that are impacting every aspect of our life. And so my wish for you is that you can just be more. Honestly, that's what I want. To be more feminine, to just drop in, to slow down, and to just be more. And this comes through by increasing your awareness of what your body's trying to communicate to you and how that's informing your actions and your thoughts and your beliefs and all of it. And I know that it can be super complex, and also the gene keys can be your guide. And I want to be your guide, right? Like, that's why I'm sharing this information a little bit at a time, and why I'm encouraging you to pull your Gene Keys profile and start to see what's activated in your chart, to start to dive into the Gene Keys audio transmissions and or get the book and or both. My babe, do both, honestly. If I can tell you to do anything, it's to get both of those resources and to start to dive in. And I know you're busy, and if you're an audio learner like me and you're constantly on the go, the audio transmissions are where it's at. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can get your entire Gene Keys Golden Path for $22. They're $2 a piece. There's 11 spheres in your Golden Path. Just spend the money and get them and start there. Even just start with one if that's what you need. But once you do, it's going to catalyze a mutation in your life. I can 100% guarantee that. And I had someone ask me this today, actually, in my DMs. How long does it take for you to start seeing results from this work? And honestly, it's immediate. And how quickly you like transmute or alchemize or mutate, I can't control that, and I can't really tell you. It just depends on how ready you are for this work and how you absorb the information and really, truly contemplate on it and dive in and continue to let this wisdom seep into your soul, into your cellular biology. But it will do it if you let it. And I really want you to be you as much as you do, if not more. And so please do this. The audio transmissions are beautiful to listen to on the go, or while you're doing dishes or folding laundry or on a drive or sitting in the pickup line for your kids or on your commute to work or whatever it is. I promise you will not regret it. And come into my DMs if you have questions, if you want support, if you want to share your ahas or epiphanies or anything that's landed with you. Like, please, let's talk about it, because the more that you can communicate and really just be with other people in this process, it'll be so supportive for you, because you're not meant to do it alone. We are tribal beings. And so you kind of got to seek out your tribe with people who get it and support you and want you to win in this world that is so busy. And full transparency is operating in those lower faculties most often. The general population is operating in the shadow frequencies, and they're not aware of it. And so it is your responsibility to increase your awareness, to raise your frequency, to become more vital, to become more aware, to become more embodied in who you were designed to be. And the Gene Keys and also human design are your portals to do that. I love you. Thank you for listening to this today. I hope I've inspired you to dig deeper, to recognize patterns in your life, to do the work, to purchase the resources, because that's really what it comes down to, is resources. Do you have access to the resources you need or not? And as you know, the Gene Keys are an invaluable resource that will absolutely change your life if you let it. So thanks again for hearing me out and listening to my story. Please come into my DMs and let me know how any of this landed with you. I would love to connect with you there. And I will be coming back here soon. And with this whole rebrand of the podcast, that's going to be coming as well. I've started to work on the podcast art and the name, and I already have that stuff going. And so it's on its way. I hope you're excited. It's going to be cool. And this is basically the initiation of season 2. So it's going to be along the same lines and the threads, but it's really going to embody and take on this archetype of this new era of my life and business and movement. So anyways, stay tuned for that. I love you so much, babe. As always, be brave, not perfect, and I'll catch you again in the next episode.